Alright gang, let's keep going in TinkerCAD and do another tutorial. Today we're going to be making a pen cup. You know, the thing that you put on your desk and put your pens in. You can see it on the screen right here. Kind of a cool little pen cup. It is an octagon and there are a bunch of cool little diamonds cut out of it. And there is also a solid base down there, so when you pick it up your pens don't all fall apart. And we're designing this thing with the 3D printer in mind. So you can see the wrench. From our previous video, all this stuff, in a couple clicks we send it off to the 3D printer. So this will be a cool plastic pen cup when we're all done with it. Alright, to get started, I'm going to open up a fresh file here. You've got a chance to look at our finished product, but it's kind of big, so it'll be better if I just have a fresh file for you. So I'm going to click up on the little TinkerCAD logo up here, actually right next to the TinkerCAD logo. It says Recent Designs. I'm going to show you some of the recent things you've been working on, or you can also click New Design. And I'll have a fresh work plane all set up for me. Hey, let's do a quick change though from our previous work. Instead of working in millimeters, let's switch this over to inches. Just a little more comfortable for most of us, I assume. Down in the lower right hand corner there, it says Edit Grid. I'm going to click on that, and then you can see I can change my units. So going from millimeters to inches. Another nice thing to change here where it says presets, default, this is the size of the work plane. If I click on that, there is a couple options here for different 3D printers. The one in the shop is a Dremel 3D 45. I'm going to click on that, and it automatically makes the length and width 6 inches and 10 inches. When I say update grid, you can see that our work plane has changed a little bit more of a long rectangle. This is the build space for the Dremel 3D printer we have. So it kind of keeps you within the bounds of what you can pull off with the machine. If you're doing stuff that's bigger than this work plane, well, you can't 3D print it. Okay, to get started on our pen cup, we're going to bring in a couple of basic shapes, and I'm going to come over here to the basic shape pull down menu, and I'm going to find a polygon. I'm going to click on the polygon and bring it in. Now you can play around with exactly what size and shape you use for this. I'm going to start off though with a polygon, and instead of doing 6 sides, I can come over here to the little slider. I'm going to crank it up to 8 sides. So it is now an octagon. And as I orbit around, you can see I got a little 8-sided polygon shape here. I think it's probably about 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch. I need to be a lot bigger than that to hold my pens. I love doing this type of stuff with a tape measure in hand. And I'll grab a pencil or a pen or something and just see how big a full-size pencil is going to be. You know, this one's reading 7.5 inches right now. So I need to make sure that my cup can hold something that large. I also don't want it to be too big on my desk, so I love having a tape measure handy just so I can visually see how big these things are going to be. I've done some thinking on it, and I think I want this thing to be 3.5 inches in diameter and 4 inches high. So to change those numbers, I'm going to click on the little gray square there. And when I click on the gray square, it turns red, and these number fields stay open for me to type in some numbers. I'm going to do a 3.5. I'm going to click on the other one and do a 3.5. So now I have a 3.5 by 3.5 octagon. And then to make it a little bit taller, I'm going to click on that gray handlebar that's kind of coming up from the top of my shape. And it is 1 inch right now. I'm going to change that to 4 inches. So I have a good size octagon that's going to be the outside of my pen cup. All right. Next step, I need to make another shape just like this, but just a little bit smaller, and that one is going to be the hole. It's going to be the part that cuts out the inside of this shape, so it turns it into a cup. To do that, I'm going to come up here and use the duplicate command. So you can copy stuff. A lot of what we'll be doing today, though, is duplicating it. When I click this button, it has made a second object. I can't see it right now because it's right on top of the first object, but I know it's there. And so I'm going to take this second object and I'm going to drag it up just a little bit. And as far as I drag that up, that will be the bottom of my cup. So I'm going to grab, not the little gray handlebar this time, that's going to actually change the shape of the object. I want to grab the little black cone that's up above it. I won't change the shape at all, I'll just be dragging that second shape straight up. So I'm going to click on that, and as I start pulling it up, you can see there's a few numbers popping up here. This is how high I've pulled it up. This is also going to be how thick the floor of my pen cup is going to be, the base of that pen cup. So right now it's at 1/4 of an inch. I think I'll bring that up. Let's go for a 3/8. So 3/8 of an inch. And you can see now it's a little bit easier to see that there's two shapes here. Just to make it even easier to see it, I'm going to come over to where it says solid, and there's a blue color right now. And I'll just change that color so we can see it pretty easy. I'll just change it to red. Right? So you can see I have this red shape inside of the blue shape, but I need to make this red one just a little bit smaller because I need to leave a wall for my pen cup. So I'm going to click on the red, make sure I got that one selected, and then when I come down and click on the gray handlebar there, I get the two numbers for the length and the width. So it was originally 3.5 and 3.5. I think I'm just going to change that to 3 and 3. Alright, so now you can see that I have a slightly smaller red shape inside of this blue shape, but if I orbit around, you can tell they're not lining up, properly at all. So I'm going to use the Align tool. So I have the red one selected. I can tell there's kind of a little blue aura around it, and I'm going to hold down Shift and click on the blue shape. So now I have the red and the blue shape selected. And when I come up to the Align command and click on that, I get those little black handlebars. And when I click on one of them, it'll align it on the x-axis. And when I click on the other one, it'll align it on the y-axis. I don't want to do that on the z-axis. I've already got those positioned just the way I want them. But the x and the y are now good. And as I orbit around, you can see it is perfectly in the center. Alright, time to make my cup. I'm going to make sure I have them both selected. I can tell I do because there's that little blue outline on all the shapes. Oh wait, I got to change the red one into a hole first. So let me click off. So nothing was selected. Now I click on the red one, and I'm going to change that into a hole. Now when I have them both selected, by holding down Shift and clicking on them both, and when I group them, I've now cut out a big hole in my shape, and I have my cup. Alright, I could send this to the printer right now, and if I actually printed it on a very thin layer, this thing would hold water. It could be a true cup, but I'm not looking for a water holding cup. I'm looking for a pen cup, and it's going to be a lot cooler if there's some little cutouts in there. So right now I'm going to just pull this off to the side, get it out of here for a second, and I'm going to make a shape that I will end up inserting over and over again into this cup, and it'll be used as a cutter to cut out the little diamonds. So I'm going to start with just a simple cube, or a box. I'm going to click on the box shape and bring it in. Alright, now I like doing this one from straight up above. So I'm going to click on the top command on the view cube, so I can kind of see that it's I'm looking at it from straight up and down. And now I'm going to rotate it. I'm trying to make a little diamond. So I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees. So I'll hit the little rotate button. And I can type in 45 degrees. Alright, so it's starting to look like a diamond. I think it would be better if I kind of squashed it a little bit. So I'm going to grab one of these sides and just kind of squash it down. And again, you could play around with the shape and do what you want. I like the diamond though. And instead of just grabbing it and moving it, I think I will actually type in some numbers here. How about I go for, I think I'll do 1/2 inch. So I'll do 0.5 in that direction. And then in this direction, how about I do a 0.75. Alright, I like it. I think that's a good looking diamond. And as I orbit around here, you can see what I got. Now this is going to be a lot easier if this thing is rotated and kind of laying flat on the work plane. So to do that, I am going to grab the rotation tool, and make sure you grab the right one. There's 3 different ways I can rotate this thing, and I want it to be kind of laying flat on the work plane. So I'm going to make sure I grab the right one, and I will type in 90 degrees. There you go. You can see that it's it's a nice little diamond shape. I think I do want this one all the way down on the work plane itself. You see how it's kind of hovering right now? So I'm going to just bring it down, and when you start bringing it down, you can see when the lower number on the lower right there, when it says 0, that means that you're at 0. You're on the work plane itself. Okay, diamond's looking great, but it's a little small. I need to stretch it out now, so I will click on it. And the dimension that is right now 1 inch, I need to make that a lot bigger. There we go. And I think I'll type in something like 7 or so. So it's going to be 7 inches. That's what I'm looking for. And if this is a little confusing why we're doing it like this, just hang with me for just a minute, and it'll all come together in a second here. All right, so now I have one big, long, diamond-shaped rod. I need to put a bunch of them together. I'm going to do that by duplicating. So I have my big diamond-shaped rod selected. I'll come up here to duplicate. I could also hit Control-D. Notice that's the shortcut there. And so now I've duplicated that shape. So remember that there's 2 of them. You just can't tell because they're sitting right on top of each other. I'm going to grab one of them, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. So I'll click on the little rotate arrow, click in the number field, and rotate 90 degrees. All right, and then I'm going to duplicate that one. So I have it selected. I'm going to hit duplicate. And remember, there's 2 of them on there now. Now I just need to rotate this one. And this rotation is going to be half of 45 degrees, which is 22.5. All right, excellent. Now I'm going to just keep doing that until I have a nice little fan array of these diamond rods. So I'm going to select the one I just did and say duplicate. And then I'm going to rotate it 22.5 degrees. All right. I'm going to do that one more time. Duplicate, rotate 22.5 degrees. Actually, I guess I got to keep going to get the whole array. And then a cool trick that works most of the time, if you've done something a couple of times, like I was duplicating and rotating, this duplicate and repeat command, if the computer can pick up on it, it'll actually keep repeating a couple steps over and over. So I didn't have to keep doing the rotate. Once I did it once or twice, it kind of realized there was a pattern there, and then hitting duplicate and repeat, it just finished the pattern for me. All right, let's see if this thing looks the way I want it to. Perfect. Got a nice little fan array of diamond rods. And then this is going to be the thing that's going to be my cutter. I'm going to make this a hole, and it's going to cut out the diamond pattern in our pen cup. Make this a little easier on myself, I will select it all, or select all these diamond rods, and I'm going to group them together. So now it's acting like one object, and then I'm going to change it over to a hole. Now I just need to get these things positioned and group them up, and I'll actually be done. To get them positioned perfectly, I will align them. So I'll select both my diamond rod array, and then I'll hold down Shift and select the pen cup, and I will hit the align command. And then the little black dots pop up, those little black handlebars. If I click on the X-axis, it aligns it on the X. If I click on the Y-axis, it aligns it on the Y. And now as I look around, my diamond cutouts are perfectly centered on my pen cup. But they're a little low. Right now they would actually be cutting through my base, and I don't want that. So I'm going to make sure I only have my diamond rod array selected, and then I'm going to just raise that up. We had a 1/2 inch, or a 3/8 inch bottom, so I need to bring it up at least 3/8 of an inch. But I think I want to come up just a little bit more, so it's not right on the base of the pen cup. So I think I'm going to come up a full 1/2 inch, and that will leave a little 1/8 inch buffer down there. All right, looking pretty good. Now I just need to repeat that a couple of times till I get to the top. So I will come up and hit duplicate, and then I'm going to bring it up. Now, how high do I need to bring it up? When I bring it up, it looks like 3/4 of an inch. I am, the diamond tips are touching right on top of each other, and I want to have a little more space there. So I'm going to actually come up a full inch, like that. Now, I could just leave it like this and do that same duplicate move a couple of times, and all my diamonds would be in a vertical line, which that could be okay, but slightly cooler, I think I might rotate each one of these layers as I go along just to stagger the pattern a little bit. So I'm going to click on the highest layer right now, the one that I just did, and I'm going to rotate it. And how much should I rotate? You could kind of be creative here and decide on your own. I think I'm going to go for 12 degrees. So now it's just staggered just a little bit. Okay. Do that again. I'm going to click on the on that top layer of diamond rods. I'm going to bring it up a full inch. Oops, I forgot to hit duplicate. So I'm going to hit undo, and then duplicate, and bring it up a full inch. Click on the curvy arrow that allows me to rotate it, and I will rotate that one another 12 degrees as well. And then one more time. I have that top layer selected, duplicate, bring it up. Now, if I were to do it like this, I would actually be poking out the top of my cup, and the top wouldn't be all sealed up, and I don't want to do that. So actually, I think I will evaluate what this looks like. And I think it looks pretty cool. I'll just stop at 3 layers, but what might make it look even a little cooler, I'll bring all 3 layers up just a little bit more. Center them in the cup vertically a little bit more. So I am going to select all 3 layers while holding down the Shift key. And I'll just bring it up just a little bit. There. That's going to look cool. Alright, I know it looks a little busy on the screen, but it's all going to come together now when I make sure I have everything selected. And I hit group. And those little diamond rods, remember those were actually the holes, and so they were cut into there. And wow, that looks pretty darn cool. Okay, there we go, pen cup. I'm going to make sure that I name my file so I can remember it. I'm going to call this one Pen Cup 2, because it's my second one. And then for you guys, I would love to get a picture of this up on your week 11 blog post. You can do that simply by hitting send to. And then you can save that picture. And if you're not sure how to get it on your blog, look back at the week 10 videos, and there's a short video showing you how to move that picture up onto your blog. Now, if I wanted to send this to the 3D printer, I would just say export, and export it as an STL file. All right, I hope that's going well for you. Please send me an email if you're having any troubles, and I will do my best to help you out. Take care.